to use to get to the.
We'd go out there with him sometimes when they were putting those boards down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a lot of work putting those board roads down.
And they were primarily oak. That's what the wood was.
And they were driving them nails with hammers.
Absolutely.
Now you see them like chained together, like when they do those mats and stuff. When
Well,
they work.
build the mats. because
Yeah, they build the
They
mats.
don't have the labor to nail them all down anymore. It's not there.
So I have another story, my first day at J Elementary. So we went to a private school before we moved here. We wore uniforms every day. So I was a nervous wreck on what to wear to school my first day.
They never had to
Because I
worry.
had never worn anything but a uniform. So I picked a dress out and we did all of our stuff in the office, and Mr. Shell was taking me to my home room. And it was at the end of the hall, and he opened the door. It was like almost pitch black dark in there. And we turned the corner, and I had never seen a man teacher. And he was a big man, and it was Mr. Shepherd. In that classroom, he had like the whole ceiling was black, but it had the stars and the moon and all that stuff in it, and had little cubby holes. But I was scared to death.
But
To
you
go
were
around that corner and see that big man is gonna be my teacher. I was like, oh my God.
you were used to the little nun.
And he was the sweetest thing.
Yeah, they were used to nuns, and they had lay teachers too at the
Yeah, they
Catholic
did,
school.
but not men teachers.
But no men teachers. Now I did in high school. I had, because our coach was a science teacher. All coaches, I think, are science teachers.
Or history.
He's a science and history.
Another thing I remember was one of my first was getting chased by a rooster. And it was a pretty big rooster. So me and Elaine Wolf would walk across their field to a trailer that had this cutest little girl there. And we'd go see her. And when we would come out, that stupid rooster would be there, but that cute little girl was Jane.
I knew when you said Elaine. Yeah.
We would go see Jane. They lived right there by Mr. Hayes, and that rooster belonged to Mr. Hayes, and he hated Elaine. That rooster, she'd say, "You better get ready." Phew, we'd start running.
Did he chase you?
Yes, that thing would chase us. Oh my gosh. And Mr. Hayes had a gully behind his house. And we found the gully by playing around at the graveyard and going through the woods and all. Do you remember the gully there?
Oh
And
yeah.
we would
Oh,
go
yeah.
in the gully and play.
We grew
Many-
up in that gully.
Many
Yes.
good times in that gully
Yeah.
growing up.
So one day I go over there by myself, and there was always a fence there. I grabbed a hold of that fence, and it set me on fire. I come back home, and I told my daddy, I said, I don't know what's wrong with that fence over there, but it caught my hand, and I could not let go, and it hurt. He said, that's an electric fence, don't grab it anymore.
We had never seen a electric fence. I mean, well, we lived in town. We didn't live in the country.
Well, it's because they had cows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were cultured here in Jay, Florida, and y'all gonna love this story. When I was in high school, I came back to Jay to visit one weekend, and I guess it was fall, because on my way back from Morgan City, I stopped on the side of the road and went and plucked up a couple of cotton plants and threw them in the back of my truck, headed to Louisiana. I get back to Louisiana, I rode around Morgan City for 3 or 4 days with these cotton plants in my truck. And everybody in Morgan City was saying, what is that? And I was like, it's cotton. It grows on a plant plant? I'm like, come on. They write songs about cotton in Louisiana, not in South Louisiana. They didn't know what it was. They couldn't believe it. And I was like, where did you think cotton came from? Yeah, but I'm not, if I could make stories up like that, I'd be a real good author.
We've had people at the peanut festival ask us where the peanut trees were.
Well, Guess what? We thought
Yeah.
they grew on trees too.
Yeah.
We only knew of nuts growing on trees.
Y'all
And-
want to
and then-
hear? Y'all want to hear even better?
True.
Cause I lived in the city. I didn't live in the country. I went to school with country kids, and I was friends with them, but I never saw what they grew until I went over to Grace.
J.D.
J.D.
Gray
Gray.
brought us to
He
his
said,
garden.
I want to give you some potatoes. I said, okay. So we went over there, and he said, brought me back there to the thing, and he said, start digging. I said, dig for what? He said, well, that's where your potatoes are. I said, you kidding? I said, potatoes grow under the ground? I had never seen a potato grow. I didn't know where they came from. I thought they just came in the grocery store or the fruit stand. I dug for my potatoes. First time I ever saw a potato in the ground.
And we picked peas, and we just
He
thought it
laughed.
was so much
He
fun.
laughed so hard at me. He's probably still laughing. He got a big kick out of that. He could not believe that I didn't know the potatoes were in the ground. And I said,
Yeah.
well, I've never seen potatoes grow. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
they didn't have FFA at Morgan City High School either, but I was able to take, in the ninth grade, I was in the FFA. I got my jacket, wore my jacket back in Morgan City all the time. But
He still got it.
I guess I was in the 11th grade, maybe 12th grade, and me and two of my friends was riding around, and somebody came and told, Robert Scully was his name, that his uncle's Sal was having piglets. Did I say that right?
Uh-huh.
So we wanted to go and see the Sal have these piglets. You know, they were all excited, and we got over there, and they must have been about 10 people there, and all these piglets started coming out, and they were just laying there, you know, and they were all dead, and they were all upset and everything, and me paying attention in ag, I said, y'all need to clean their snouts out. They looked at me like, what do you mean clean their snouts out? I said, y'all need to take that sawdust right there and rub their snouts. And they said, well, you show us. So I went down there and I rubbed the mucus off the piglet's
With your
snout,
FFA jacket on?
and it come to life, you know, and then everybody was on their hands and knees wiping the snouts, and all the piglets were alive. They thought I was a genius. Yeah, they thought, well, how'd you know this? Because I was just a little kid, you know, and they had all these adults there. They didn't gave up. I learned that from, I can't remember his name.
It wasn't Ed Kelly, Mr. Harrison,
Not
A.A.
Mr.
Harrison.
Harrison, the one after him, Mr. Ed.
Ed Kelly.
Ed
Kelly, that's it.
Ed Kelly.
Ed Kelly.
That's right. We were the first class with Ed Kelly. Yeah, I was in his first class, and he was great that year. You know, he taught us all kinds of stuff. And from what I understand, he taught a lot of other kids a lot of stuff for many years.
I tell you one thing, coming from the city like we did and coming to the country, we learned a lot.
We did.
I mean, our eyes were open to a lot of stuff that we had never known before.
We'd never seen clear water like the creeks.
Yeah.
Our water was very, very nasty that we swam in the bayous.
In the bayous.
We loved the clear water. Another experience was airplanes diving at you going down the road. I'll never forget Mama going, ah!
I was just waiting for it to land on my car.
Crop dusters.
Yeah,
And especially when my son-in-law did it. He tell me all the time.
But we'd see those airplanes flying real low, and Mama would just about stop in the road. We had never seen that before.
And little did you know
Yeah,
your daughter would fall in love with one.
Well,
Another
yeah,
daredevil.
That's toward the end of the story where we moved back to Louisiana. She was a senior. And when Don came home and said, we're getting transferred to Texas, I said, and I really didn't want to go to Texas. That's one place I really didn't want to go. Too big. So anyway, I said, Don, I cannot move Gina in her senior year. It's not fair. It wouldn't be fair to her. Although she could have done it, but I couldn't do it to her. I mean, I wouldn't want my mama to move me in my senior year, where I'd gone since sixth grade and made all these friends and had a boyfriend. That's when I really should have left. I really should have left them.
Yours sound like you don't like it.